a Trump appointee has admitted that there is a plan to try to steal the midterms. According to a recent report in the New York Times, published on Wednesday, during a call back in March with right-wing activists, a woman who has since been appointed to Trump's newly created election integrity position within DHS had suggested that Trump could cancel the midterms by declaring a national emergency, okay, which would give him new authority to change election rules that are typically decided by state and local governments. This, of course, would be a massive authoritarian takeover, okay? Where are all the people that were like, states' rights, states' rights? They don't believe in states' rights anymore, okay? Because they're not saying anything about this. They're saying, oh, states' rights, don't care. Let the government, let big government, big daddy government over here, headed up by Donald Trump, come in and take over the elections for all the states. Yeah. So now, who's the person who made this idea? Well, Heather Honey, okay, who was formerly a Pennsylvania-based private investigator, so she's private dick, who became a huge proponent of Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Oh boy. Now, she said that the authority, which doesn't exist, would come from an investigation into Trump's 2020 loss, which she had baselessly argued was the result of widespread voter fraud or election fraud. Now, funny enough, they couldn't prove either in a court of law. I mean, it's not like they didn't have 60 different chances to come up with that evidence of voter fraud and election fraud, okay? Couldn't get there. You know, they couldn't deliver the goods, okay? So, I mean, look, it's one thing to go on Fox News and claim, oh yeah, stole the election, they stole the election, claim fraud, right? Which they did, by the way, until they got sued for defamation and lost by Dominion and Smartmatic, okay? But it's one thing to do that, okay? And what they did, of course, is they flew too close to the sun on that one. They were actually pointing out like, Smartmatic and Dominion, they did the fraud. That's right, Hugo Chavez, you know, the ghost of Hugo Chavez and the voting machines, and oh my God, that's how they stole the election. They could have been much more vague and gotten away with it. But no, they flew too close to the sun, and so therefore, crashed down to earth. But anyway, those lawsuits, okay, they lost those lawsuits, Fox News did, okay, because there wasn't any proof of voter fraud. And in those lawsuits, by the way, Fox News literally tried to argue that, oh, no, we're just an entertainment channel, and no reasonable person should expect us to tell the truth. And so that's why it's okay. It was just our opinion, man. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, just your opinion, man. Sure.
Just forget about the evidence.
That's basically what they argued, okay? That's what they're doing here. Now, getting back to Heather Honey, right, and Trump, they want to stop the midterm elections from happening. They know they're going to get wiped out, okay? And they are trying to use the specter of voter fraud in order to take over, okay? In order to end democracy in this country. Now, Honey suggested that the Trump administration has some quote-unquote additional powers that don't exist right now. So, wait, he doesn't have the powers? Thanks for admitting that, all right? If they don't exist right now, then they don't exist. Okay. Now, she also admits, though, well, we can make them exist by using an investigation into voter fraud as a pretext. Oh, okay. Quote, we can take these other steps without Congress, and then we can mandate that states do things and so on, you know, because of that investigation. She then added, I don't know if that's really feasible. Oh, now you're saying you don't know. And if the people around the president would let him test that theory. I'm afraid that many of them probably would allow him to test that. I mean, Stephen Miller, 100%, absolutely would. Well, Pee Wee German can't wait to do a fascism, okay? Along with, of course, Donald Trump, who would love to do it as well. Last week, the Wall Street Journal reported that the administration has actually begun an effort to reboot the election voter fraud narrative. First, you had Trump tapping former campaign lawyer and Stop the Steal proponent Kurt Olson as a special government employee that has been tasked with reinvestigating 2020. Olson has reportedly already begun asking intelligence agencies for any information about the 2020 election, and also suggested that he wants to purge the government employees who are disloyal to Donald Trump. He has also sought to implement many of the proposals from the U.S. Citizens Election Bill of Rights, which is not actually a Bill of Rights at all. Takes rights away. Now, this was proposed by the so-called Election Integrity Network, a group of election deniers, of which Honey is a member. The group has become deeply influential during Trump's second term, obviously, and has called for new restrictions on mail-in ballots, early voting, and to make it easier for voters to get purged from the rolls, okay? And for election results to be challenged. Trump has also elevated a leading EIN operative, Marcy McCarthy, who also pushed a bunch of debunked theories about widespread illegal voting in Georgia, to be the CISA's Director of Public Affairs. EIN's founder, Cleta Mitchell, was also notably one of the lawyers that was present on Trump's phone call in January 2021, in which he attempted to pressure Raffensperger and other Georgia election officials to find him enough votes to be declared the winner of the state, which of course resulted in him being indicted 3 years later. And on a podcast with a Christian nationalist influencer last month, Mitchell likewise pushed the idea that Trump could use emergency powers to try to assert control over state elections. He said, quote, she said, the president's authority is limited in his role with regard to elections except where there's a threat to the national sovereignty of the United States. I think maybe the president is thinking that he will exercise some emergency powers to protect federal elections going forward. I mean, all of this should worry you. Claiming a bullshit emergency as a pretext to take over the state elections should worry you. Absolutely. It's unconstitutional, of course, but he doesn't care. I mean, I should be very obvious to everyone that he does not care about the Constitution, doesn't care about the law. He's a criminal. He's been ignoring the Fourth Amendment. He's ignoring due process. He's been sending the military into the cities, ignoring about 35% of the court orders that were made against him. He doesn't care. He's been talking about doing a third term, okay? Steve Bannon, by the way, says, oh, we got a plan for that too. Oh, great. So all these people who are evil are out there announcing their evil plans. I mean, this is like one of those superhero movies or something like that, where the evil guy, the bad guy's got to go and monologue his plan, put it out in the open. Well, now this is the plan that we have to take over the earth. Okay, that's what they're doing. They're in the middle of their monologue, which means they think they're winning. They actually believe that they were going to win this fight. Okay, in fact, here's what Bannon said. Quote, he's going to get a third term. So Trump is going to be president in 2028, and people just ought to be accommodated with that. At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what that plan is, but there's a plan. Oh, hell no. Fuck no. All right? Hell no. Not going to happen. Look, the 22nd Amendment is pretty clear, and there's no way he can get that overturned. So they're going to try and break the law. Look, I'm pretty sure that these things are related. Him being their plan to make him the president in 2028 in an illegal third term, and to take over the state elections to ensure that, Democrats do not win anything in the midterms because we have just taken it. Okay? Look, here's the thing, though, okay? The plan was never really to completely eliminate elections. No, they wouldn't get away with that. But they do want to change the rules. They do want to rig them, and they do want to put these state elections in control of the executive branch. Okay? And they're going to do that. They're going to rig those elections in their favor so that they never lose. It's going to be a lot like Russia. Okay? That's what our elections are going to look like now. They're going to look like the Russian elections. One-party rule. And yes, there are elections there, but you still have one-party rule and a president that stays in power for life. That is what the far right has planned for us. And we need to make sure to fight to make sure that this doesn't happen. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.